Good morning. I'm George Kahn, and I'll be your host for today's Quiet Echo. I want to tell you about something Michigan did. Last week, the state announced it has automatically cleared nearly 1.6 million criminal convictions under the Clean Slate Act. Misdemeanors after 7 years, felonies after 10, no petition, no lawyer, no courthouse. The state went looking for the records and cleared them. 1.6 million. Kamau Sandiford runs the Clean Slate program for Safe and Just Michigan, a criminal justice reform nonprofit. He said something in a published interview I have been sitting with since I read it. He said they sometimes encounter people in their 60s or 70s who have spent the majority of their lives with a conviction on their record. And he said it is not always about better housing or a better job. Sometimes they simply want the stigma removed. They want to die knowing they are no longer considered a convicted felon. I want to read you what he said one more time. They want to die knowing they are no longer considered a convicted felon. I went to prison at 20. I came back to Cedar Valley in my 40s. I am not going to spend this morning telling you what those years were like, because Cedar Valley already knows more of the story than I sometimes wish it did. What I want to tell you is something smaller and harder to describe. When you come back, the sentence is not over. The time you served is over. The sentence follows you. It is in the database. It is in the background check. It is in the look on a face when someone searches your name and finds what they find. You did not choose the word. It was given to you in a courtroom, and it is yours for life unless someone decides it is not. Michigan decided. For 1.6 million people, the state looked at a database and said, "Enough. The sentence is over. The record has served its time." For a long time, I did not understand what my family was doing when they kept believing in me. I thought they were being patient. I thought I owed them something I could not yet name. I kept working to earn something back. And then one day I understood they had already given it. They were not waiting for me to prove myself. They had already decided who I was. I was the one still trying to earn a verdict already delivered. What Michigan did for 1.6 million people is something like what my family did for me. Not because they agreed with what happened. Not because the record was wrong. Because they decided the past had served its time. Because they looked at a number on a database and understood there was a person behind it who had been carrying something long enough. The law clears misdemeanor convictions after 7 years and felonies after 10, provided the person has not reoffended. It is bipartisan. More than 30 states have some version of this. Most require the person to petition. Most require them to know the law exists, find the right form, navigate the right office. Michigan made it automatic. The state came to them. I think about what it would have meant for some of the men I knew in prison. Men who came out and rebuilt quietly and well. Men who drove trucks and ran small businesses and raised children and never once touched anything they should not have. And every year the word was still there. Every application, every new town, every time someone ran their name. Some of them I lost track of. Some found their footing. Some did not. And I have wondered sometimes how much of the difference was the record itself, the way it follows you into a room before you arrive, the way it makes a landlord pause, the way it makes a hiring manager flip to the next application. You cannot see it happening. You just know the door was open a moment ago, and now it is not. One of the things I have learned running the deli kitchen is something my father told me when I was a boy, before any of this happened. He said people are not what they did. They are what they do. He said it as a general truth about customers, about life, about Cedar Valley. I did not understand for a long time what it cost him to still believe it about me. And I did not understand for even longer what it would cost me to believe it about myself. I think about my stepson, Owen. He is 17. He has his whole life ahead of him, and I know better than most how fast one moment can change everything coming after. I also know what it means when someone decides the past does not get to introduce you anymore. When the door is held open not because you performed well enough, but because someone decided you had carried it long enough. Cedar Valley is not Michigan, but Cedar Valley has people. People who served their time, built something decent, and are still answering for it every time their name comes up. It is worth knowing what your state allows. It is worth telling someone who might not know to look. And if you know someone carrying something they have carried for a long time, maybe today is the day to ask whether the door might already be open and nobody told them. If you know someone in Cedar Valley who has been carrying a record for years and has not looked into what might be possible, The Cedar Valley News Facebook group is where the conversation can continue. I will put the link in the show notes. This is George Kahn, your host for today's Quiet Echo. Thanks for listening. This Quiet Echo is part of the fictional Cedar Valley News series, written by Evan Swenson, publisher, publication consultants, and Claude Marshall, AI developmental editor. While the people in town of Cedar Valley are fictional, Michigan's Clean Slate Act, Kamau Sandiford's Safe and Just Michigan, and the data described are real.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. From faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open. This is Cedar Valley News.